Genesis 4, verse 1. Cain murders Abel. Now Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from the Lord. Then she bore again, this time his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord. Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat, and the Lord respected Abel and his offering. But he did not respect Cain and his offering, and Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. So the Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. Now Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. So now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. A fugitive and a vagabond you shall be on the earth. And Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Surely you have driven me out this day from the face of the ground. I shall be hidden from your face. I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond on the earth. And it will happen that anyone who finds me will kill me. And the Lord said to him, Therefore whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark on Cain, lest anyone finding him should kill him. Let's read the commentary here of verses 1 through 14. It will lead into the next couple verses. So, in verse 1 through 5, even though Adam and Eve were exiled from the garden, God continued to bless them. With the Lord's help, Eve gave birth to two sons, Cain and Abel. Both sons grew up hearing stories about God, so both knew that they should bring offerings to their Creator. In the course of time, both boys came ready to worship. But while the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, he did not have regard for Cain and his offering. What made the difference between the two offerings? We get a clue from the sort of offerings they brought. Cain offered produce from the ground, but we know that the ground was under the curse. This suggests Cain had aligned himself with the curse. The Apostle John points this out, calling Cain evil, even before he killed his brother. See 1 John 3, verse 12. Abel, on the other hand, was exercising dominion over the animals, as God had commanded, Genesis 1:28, as well as offering the required sacrifice of shed blood. See Hebrews 9:22. True worship must be what God will receive, not merely what we want to give. So God rejected Cain and accepted Abel, because one was evil and the other righteous. Because God rejected his offering, Cain became both furious and despondent, mad and sad at the same time. That makes for a dangerous combination. God gave Cain an opportunity to break out of his emotional funk, reminding him that if he did what is right, he would be accepted. The cure for emotional problems is found in spiritual realignment. Rather than listening to God's counsel and choosing to worship according to God's pattern, Cain nursed his negative emotions until they manifested as murder. There is an eerie familiarity in what follows, echoing the interaction between God and Adam after the fall. Like Adam, Cain sinned. God asked him a question, not so that he could get information, but so that he could give Cain a chance to accept responsibility for his actions. Like Adam, the son shirked that responsibility, brushing off what he'd done. And just as he did with Adam, God punished Cain. This time, instead of the ground merely becoming cursed, it will never again give you its yield. God said, making Cain a restless wanderer on the earth. Cain was cast out, not just from the garden, like his father, but from the Lord's presence altogether. Okay, let's continue on reading scripture. Verse 16, Genesis 4. The family of Cain. Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begot Mehujael, and Mehujael begot Methuselah, and Methuselah begot Lamech. Forgive me for mispronouncing these names. Then Lamech took for himself 2 wives. The name of one was Adah, and the name to the second was Zillah. And Adah bore Jabal. He was the father of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all those who play the harp and flute. And as for Zillah, she also bore Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every craftsman in bronze and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Then Lamech said to his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, wives of Lamech, listen to my speech, for I have killed a man for wounding me, even a young man for hurting me. If Cain shall be avenged 7-fold, then Lamech 77-fold. Alright, let's read commentary here. Verse 16 through 26 of Genesis 4. So what follows Cain's punishment is a tale of 2 families, a theme that shows us repeatedly throughout Genesis. Unfortunately, Cain's murderous ways infected his family line. By the time we get to his great-great-grandson, we find a man bragging about his violence. I killed a man for wounding me, Lamech boasted. Notice too that Lamech was talking to his wives, plural. God's perfect design is only 4 chapters old, and already we find people revealing in bloodshed and flouting his design for marriage. Hey Miguel, hey! Yeah, we are in the book of Genesis. We're starting from the beginning. We just read that Cain killed his brother Abel, and his generations to come, his family line, they are murdering people. They're murdering each other now. Okay, so we're going to continue on reading in scripture. Verse 25 of Genesis 4, a new son. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son and named him Seth. For God has appointed another seed for me instead of Abel, whom Cain killed. And as for Seth, to him also a son was born, and he named him Enosh. Then men began to call on the name of the Lord. So let's read the commentary here to close off Genesis 4. What? How come there's no commentary for Genesis 5? That's weird. Oh my goodness. We're going to read commentary. This short commentary is for Genesis 4 and the entire Genesis 5. So in contrast to Cain's line, God raised up another family tree in place of Abel. God granted Eve a son named Seth. Seth typified the same type of worship as his deceased brother Abel, because in connection with Seth, people began to call on the name of the Lord. The prideful way of worship, Cain's way, see Jude 11, points to itself the humble way of worship. Abel and Seth's way calls out to God. It is no surprise then that when God wanted to choose an obedient servant hundreds of years later, that servant Noah would come from Seth's line. So Noah was a descendant from Seth. Okay, we're going to read Genesis 5 since we read the short, very brief commentary here. And let's get started with verse 1. Genesis 5, verse 1. The family of Adam. This is the book of genealogy of Adam. So it's going to name the genealogy. Okay. In the day that God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female, and blessed them, and called them mankind in the day they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begot a son in his own likeness, after his image, and named him Seth. After he begot Seth, the days of Adam were 800 years, and he had sons and daughters. So all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. Seth lived 105 years and begot Enosh. After he begot Enosh, Seth lived 877 years, and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. Enosh lived 90 years and begot Canaan. After he begot Canaan, Enosh lived 815 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. Canaan lived 70 years and begot Mahalalel. After he begot Mahalalel, Canaan lived 840 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. Mahalalel lived 65 years and begot Jared. After he begot Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. Jared lived 162 years and begot Enoch. After he begot Enoch, Jared lived 800 years, and he had sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. They lived long lives. Enoch lived 665 years and begot Methuselah. After he begot Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Methuselah lived 187 years and begot Lamech. And he begot Lamech. Methuselah lived 782 years and had sons and daughters. For all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. Lamech lived 182 years and had a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, "This one will comfort us in concerning our work and the toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord has cursed." And after he begot Noah, Lamech lived 595 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old. And Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And that concludes Genesis 5. You know what? We're going to end stream here. I'm quite hungry for breakfast. So we're going to end stream here. We are going to continue on this evening with Genesis 6. With scripture reading along with commentary. The commentary is coming from the Tony Evans Bible Commentary. That's where I'm reading commentary from. Thank you for joining in.